All right, final video for this chapter. It's kind of a big one. I know that we have a lot of videos, a lot of material to cover, but just keep following along, slugging on with me. Hopefully you're not too terribly sleepy after all this. Last thing we're going to do in this chapter is do this thing where we can check numeric ranges with logical operators. Okay, so to determine whether a numeric value is within a specific range, we can say, hey, if x is greater than or equal to 10 and x is less than or equal to 2 or 20, we know that the value is between 10 and 20, including 10 and 20, right? So let's go ahead and just fiddle around with this here. Moving over to PyCharm. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little simple input here. So x equals input. I'm going to say enter number or enter x. Now, because I'm going to force an integer, I'm going to go ahead and convert this output of the input function into an integer. Now, I want you to take a second and understand what I just did. The input function will result in a string. I will take that string as input to the int function, and then int will return an integer, and x will have an integer in it. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing with y. We're going to use the assignment operator, so we're going to put something into y. We're going to convert it to an integer. We're going to use the input function, and we're going to ask the user to enter y. Okay? Does that make sense? I want you to really think about that for a second. Please have your IDE open. Go ahead and add that or enter that yourself. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to test this range idea. Okay? So we have an x and we have a y. So we set a lower bound and an upper bound. So we're going to say if, okay, we're going to set this up, pass, else, pass. Okay, so I have this set up for myself. Okay, everything's looking good. It's giving me this because it wants an extra line at the end. All right, so if x, let's go ahead and set the lower bound. If x is greater than or equal to 5, so it's above, if it's equal to or above 5, and x is, let's say, less than and equal to 15, then we say I use the print. You are in range. Okay? Otherwise, we're going to say you are out of range. Make sure that we actually get that. Okay? So what's going to happen is we're going to enter x, we're going to enter y, we're going to convert it to an integer. Okay? Because input always generates a string. We're going to convert that to an int. We're going to save those using the assignment operator. Okay, so then we're going to come down into our if. Our Boolean expression has two parts. You see that? We have part A and we have part B. Okay, so we're going to evaluate part A. If x is greater than or equal to 5, so if let's say I enter 6. Entering 6 will say 6 is greater than or equal to 5, so that's good, and 6 is less than or equal to 15, so that's good. So I have true and true, which means I would say I am in range. Let's say I use 15. Is 15 greater than or equal to 5? 15 is greater than or equal to 5. Is 15 less than or equal than 15? 15 is less than or equal to 15, so 15 will be in range. So let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. So let's enter 15 to test that one. Our x is going to be, sorry about that. I actually wrote that incorrectly. We're actually going to not do this. We're going to take x as the input, and then we're going to use these random numbers. Sorry about that. Sorry to create confusion. X is just the variable that we're going to be testing. So we're going to enter x, and we're going to say 15, okay, like I just said. So if x is greater than or equal to 5 and x is less than or equal to 15, then we say you're in range. So 15 is in range, right? Let's go for 16. 16 is out of range, right, because that's above. Let's go for 5. 5 should be in range, right? So 5 is in range. Let's go for 7. 7 should also be in range, right? We can also do a 3, right? 3 should be out of range, so we should get into that else statement, okay? So that's the way that works. We just get an input from the user. Sorry about having those two inputs. We're going to get a user from the input, and then we're just going to go ahead and check that input. Now, I could actually do an upper bound. Int, and I'm going to take input, and then I'm going to say enter upper. And I can also do a lower bound. Now, I might have to do some logic to make sure things don't get swapped, but That's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to enter an upper and a lower. Okay, so the lower bound should be here, and the upper bound should be here. Now we want to actually check to be sure that these things are correct, right? That the lower is less than the upper, right? So what I'm going to do is, if lower is less than upper, and x is greater than or equal to lower, and x is then we're going to go ahead and come here, right? Because if x is lower than, or if lower is greater than upper, then everything's backwards, right? So we're going to also do that check as well. So we have this and this and this. Okay, so all of these need to be true in order for this to work out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and run this again. So we're going to enter x. So we're going to say 5. Let's go ahead and say 10. Okay, let's enter the upper bound as 15 and the lower bound as 5. Okay, so we know we should be in range. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 3. Let's make the upper bound 15, the lower bound 5. We should be out of range, correct? All right, so let's go ahead and enter 16. Let's make the upper range 15, the lower range 5. We should be out of range. Now let's go ahead and test that first Boolean. So if I say, we're going to say 5, we're going to have the upper range be 5 and the lower range be 15. It's going to say you're out of range, okay? Because that's testing that very, very first one there. All right, so that is kind of how you, that's how you check numeric ranges, okay? So you can also do the ORs as well, like if you want to check outside of the ranges. So we could actually have, and let me just demonstrate this to you. Let's go ahead and just get rid of these upper and lower. We can actually just go outside, right? So if x is less than or equal to 5, or if x is greater than or equal to 15, then we're in range, right? So that's gonna grab anything less than 5, less than or equal to 5, or greater than or equal to 15, right? So that means we actually are excluding the things that are in like 6 through 14, essentially, right? So enter x, we're gonna say 2. Okay, you're in range, which is exactly what we want. And 16 should also be in range. Okay, so you can look at this slide and kind of play around with these ranges. We're going to use this a lot. Okay, so in a lot of the exercise that we do, we're actually going to end up using these things. And then again, the final one, with Boolean variables, it always references one of two values, true or false. Okay, so anytime we use Boolean, the word Boolean, just think true or false. We can also call it a flag. Right, so a flag is a variable that signals when some condition exists. Okay, so if the flag is false, that means that it's not turned on, so the condition does not exist. All right, so again, if you have any questions, please email me, get a hold of me, and I will, even with the exercises or anything that you're struggling with, let me know, and I will get back to you ASAP, and we can work through it. So if you have any frustrations or things are difficult, just be sure to let me know. Email me. My email's on the syllabus, so you should be able to get to me pretty easily. All right, we will see you in the next chapter.